Thank you very much.
No worries. I'm sure Pumi can do it. She's right there. She's hiding there. All right, guys, good evening. Welcome to DuePoint on this Thursday evening. My name's Rob van der Bijl. I'm one of the executives here at DuePoint. We're going to be spending the next 50 to 60 minutes together. I'm going to tell you all about this business and what this presentation is all about. Welcome to everyone who's tuned in around the country on our live stream. After the presentation, you're welcome to come speak to me, ask me any questions that you might have. Okay, so let's begin. As you can see, DuePoint is a division of Constantia Insurance Company Limited. Constantia is a registered insurance company in South Africa that's been around since 1952, so nearly 7 decades. That's their building in the background. They're just down the road from us in Randburg. That's the orange logo that they operate with. The FSP number that we operate under is that one over there. You'll notice in the foyer above the water cooler, we've got all our FSP licenses on display. So we've got a long and short-term insurance license, we've got an investment license, we've got our FSP license, and then we've also displayed our accreditation with the Direct Marketing and the Direct Selling Association. So go take a look at those. Those are our stamp of credibility. We trust that as guests, you need to trust the business that we're going to be speaking about. So that's a fundamental step in any proposition of partnership, is that you trust the company that we're going to be speaking about. So you're welcome to go do a background check on us. The managers and executives in the business are these individuals up on screen. The first 3 on the far left are all registered chartered accountants in South Africa, starting with Brendan Benfield. He's our senior executive. He's got a lot of experience in financial services, particularly in insurance, because their family have been involved or entrenched in insurance his entire life. His father has always been involved in insurance for some 50 years. He was a professor of insurance. He taught at Wits for 25 years. He founded Clientele Life. He founded the IFA. They've started businesses around the world and operated very successfully within the financial services space. Brendan and his brother Stuart, both chartered accountants, followed in their father's footsteps. They went on to found PMD, Prime Meridian Direct, which is a very successful short-term insurer, the 4th biggest short-term insurer in the country already, and that's only after operating just over a decade. So they've had a lot of success in the business. We're very lucky to have Brendan heading up this division. We've got Tim and Stacey. They look after our auditing, the regulatory, and the accounting aspects of our business. Tim is very experienced in corporate banking. He was with the First Rand Group for about 15 years. He operated, or should I say, he reported directly to the CEO and the board of executives there. And he's just had a baby boy today. So congratulations to Tim. I'll tell him to watch the live stream because this is the last thing he's going to be watching, right? So he's become a father today for the first time, so that's wonderful. Then Stacey, she's very experienced in auditing. She was with Deloitte all her working career. She's worked overseas as well as in South Africa. And when she came back from Luxembourg, she joined the team here. So those are the boring accountants. Then Jane and myself, well, Jane actually is from the UK. She's got a lot of experience in direct marketing and direct selling, which is very important to our business because we're an insurance company, but our growth is very much dependent on our ability to work in the network marketing space. And Jane brings all of that international experience with her to our business, so we're very fortunate for that. And then myself, I've been working in advertising for 20 years. Fairly successfully. I ran my own digital agency for about 15 years. That was also fairly successful. I say that because we paid everyone salaries and we never retrenched anyone in the 20 years that the business has been running. So I think I can say it's been successful, especially in the economy that we've gone through over the last 20 years. So this is the team, at least the senior management team. We've still got client service staff, we've got admin staff, but our mandate to staff at DuePoint is to support everybody that joins us in this business. We want to see you as profitable and as effective as possible, because as a business, we can only thrive if the people that we're bringing in with this partnership are being effective and profitable. And so we do everything to support you in that fact. So that's a bit of background on DuePoint. We discuss some of the, I call them negative aspects of the circumstances that we find ourselves in that are having a dramatic effect on our personal finance. So I think we need to recognize these things before we carry on with the presentation. I'll go over them very quickly so I don't depress everyone too much. But we have to recognize the fact that the economy that we're in is not doing us any favors. We see it in the form of high inflation, high interest rates. The rest of the world has got like 0% interest, but over here we've got like 10.5% interest, right? I don't understand that. I think Stacey was telling me the other day that her sister, who lives in Switzerland, they've got negative interest. How do you have negative interest? Does the bank pay you when you borrow money? I'm not sure how that works. But anyway, we've got high interest rates, we've got high inflation, we've got astronomical food inflation in South Africa, and really no prospect of the economy getting any better, unfortunately. So there's not even any hope to have or anything to look forward to. And we see it affect us directly. You know, we can talk about the economy, but you feel it in your pocket, because what's happening is that people's salaries are not keeping up with the cost of living. Inflation is sitting at, it's just dropped now. I think it's just come under 5% at the moment. But for a very long time, it was sitting at 6-7%. And our salaries haven't been increasing like that. So I can ask anyone in the audience, did anyone get a 5-6-7% increase in their salaries for the last 6 years running? No one ever puts their hand up to that one. I've had one person in 2 years put their hand up. And that happened last week. So I think they might have been lying to me, but I'm not too sure. Right? And this is what we have to deal with regards to our personal financial situation. And what we do is we make the mistake of trying to remedy this problem that we have with debt. And debt only solves things on a very short-term scale. We are criticized as an economy for engaging far too much in debt instruments and not enough in savings and investment products. But I think you're not left with much option if you can't keep up with the cost of living every month. But what happens is this exacerbates our financial position even further. And it really comes to a head when you get to retirement. Because in retirement, you're going to have to ask yourself the question, what have you done for the last 40 years to create enough of a fund for yourself so that you can retire in dignity? And majority of South Africans don't. The statistics that we get from the FSB shows that only about 3% of South Africans retire financially independent. 3%. The rest of us, the 97% of us, so there's probably 30 people in the room, there's not even one person that's going to retire financially independent. The rest of us will be asking ourselves the question, well, what do I do now? And you'll be left with options. You can downgrade your lifestyle to such an extent that you can survive on whatever you have, right? Government grant, can you survive on a government grant? You're going to have to depend on children and family to support you, right? And so this business presentation is really about changing that circumstance. We want to change our futures, right? And this is probably the first day where you have the opportunity to start designing your own future. And that's what's on offer. Out of all of this negativity, out of all the circumstance that we find the average South African in, we saw an opportunity as a business. And we designed something called the DuePoint system that allows the average South African to engage in with three kind of aspirations in mind. So these aspirations go beyond just making extra money. Right? That's why you think you're here. You think you're here just to make extra money, right? But it actually goes beyond that, because the aspirations that we have for people that join this business is, one, for the people in this business to become debt-free. We want you to aspire towards that, because really what creating income is all about, and what we want you to think about, is creating wealth. But can you create wealth if you owe other people money? No. So it goes without saying that your first goal should be get rid of your debt first. And then the second aspiration is to start creating wealth. And wealth we create in the form of buying assets that we have ownership over, creating investments, that type of thing. And then the third aspiration happens all on its own, and that's just to be happier. You will be happier if you're debt-free. You don't even have to start creating wealth for yourself yet. The day you become debt-free, I think you'll have a party, right? I'll definitely have a party. But really, that's what it's all about. The ultimate goal is just to be happier, to have a better personal circumstance for us, for our family, and even generations to come. You never know. The actions that you make in your lifetime will have an exacerbating effect beyond just your life, right? So there's a lot of value in creating wealth. The other side of it is that you can actually pass debt onto your family and onto your children, and perhaps even onto your grandchildren, because that cycle continues. Okay. So as guests here this evening, you got the opportunity to join DuePoint. You contract with us. We call you wealth engineers. And as wealth engineers, you only need to do one thing, and that is to go out and build what we call channels of distribution. And I'll show you what a channel of distribution looks like, but basically you are going to be introducing people to DuePoint. And our online platform will facilitate the sale of products to those people that you introduce to us. And that's basically how this business works, as simply as that. 2 sentences. The benefit for you obviously additional income. But the nature of the income that we produce here is recurring income. So some people refer to it as passive income, right? If you have good investments will create passive income for you. Some businesses can create passive income. My father spoke to me about it when I was about 11 years old. He said, boy, when you get older, you need to get involved in business that makes you money while you're sleeping. And I didn't know what he was talking about. I thought he wanted me to become a stockbroker. I had no idea at the age of 11 what he was talking about. But what he was referring to was the ability to make recurring income beyond the time that you have in the day. Right? This benefit is your ability to make money beyond your time constraint. In employment, we are constrained by time because you have a contract that says you work 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. For the month, you get paid a salary. No more, no less. Right? And that's it. If we work extra hard, if we focused and we work every hour of those 8 hours at work, do we get extra money at the end of the month? We don't, right? So the business is very different to employment. We harness the power of duplication. This is leverage. When you build these channels of distribution, what you're going to be doing is inviting other, hopefully like-minded individuals to come collaborate with you in building this channel of distribution. And if you find resourceful, effective people that collaborate well with you, you actually leverage those individuals to your benefit. Because if you're limited in this business with regards to time, which we all are, but let's say you're able to invest an hour a day into DuePoint, you go out and find 20 other like-minded individuals investing the same amount of time, suddenly you've got 21 hours being invested into your business on a daily basis. That is leverage. That's the power of duplication. In turn, that will increase your recurring income. You don't have to work personally 21 hours to increase your recurring income by 21-fold. You just got to find 20 other like-minded individuals, right? In employment, they do the same thing. You are being leveraged in employment. Your boss is looking at all the staff that he has and trying to leverage all of you to make profit for the business, a bigger bonus for himself. And so these two benefits, recurring income and power duplication, is really a benefit that some businesses get to enjoy and that you get to partake in. So very important benefits. The business is flexi-time. You have the luxury of deciding when you want to do this business. Right? Any time of the day, any time of the week, you get to do the business and you get to decide what that looks like. But on the flip side of it, don't make the mistake, like unfortunately a lot of wealth engineers do, is thinking that you can be successful in this business just by joining. You cannot. That's impossible. And so you have to keep yourself accountable to what is required in this business. So if you decide that it's an hour a day that you're going to spend in the business, keep yourself accountable to the hour in the day. That means you have to do the business when you don't feel like it. Right? So think of a New Year's resolution. We want to lose weight, right, on the 1st of January because we ate too much over Christmas and we go to gym. And the second week into gym, we don't feel like going. And so 90% of people stop. Right? Gym membership at Virgin spikes over the first week of January, right? And then you pay for a year, but you never go, right? This is not a hobby. This is not a New Year's resolution. This is a business. My wish sometimes is that people would invest R1 million. If you invested R1 million into this business, I promise you, you'd be focused on it every day, right? Unfortunately, people aren't. This is a volunteer business. But I'm saying to you now, if you want to be successful, keep yourself accountable to the time that is required to be successful. There's no startup capital in this business. We don't require registration fees. There are no boxes of product that you have to buy in volume to get started in this business. And so we make the business as risk-free as possible for people to engage with. There's no qualifications or experience required. I often joke with the audience and say, did you all leave your CVs on the table? Have you still got your CVs? Huh? We don't care about your CVs. We care about work ethic. And that's pretty much it. You don't require any experience, particularly in financial services. You don't have to worry about the regulation that we abide by operating a financial services business. And so it becomes accessible to everybody. You get to build an asset. Now, this is probably the most important point because this really is the antithesis of employment. Because in employment, what we do is we will spend a lifetime working for somebody else, building up someone else's asset. When 90% of us have got nothing to show for it after 45 years. In this business, the time that you're going to be sacrificing into DuePoint, you're sacrificing into a channel of distribution which you have legal tender over. You have ownership over this channel of distribution. It means you can sell it one day. because it'll have intrinsic value. It'll have recurring income. That is intrinsic value. You can say to someone, this business is producing this much income, right? And so you get to sell it. It has value. You can pass it on to your children. You can seed it onto your beneficiaries. It will survive you, right? So I'm hoping everyone finds it easier to sacrifice time into the business knowing that they're building an asset that they have ownership over. There's no selling involved in our business. That's a great benefit because no one likes to sell anything. The nature of our products are financial in nature. It means we don't have any stock and distribution issues. And so we make our products as convenient as possible to engage with. But your success in the business is dependent on your ability to go out and build these channels of distribution. So I said I'm going to show you what a channel of distribution looks like. It begins with you. You become a wealth engineer and you're going to go out and tell people about DuePoint. Not about our products. You're going to go out and tell them about the business opportunity, the opportunity to make recurring income, right? If you are successful in that activity and you can find like-minded individuals to come into this business, collaborate with you, and at the same time build their own channels, what happens is the power duplication starts to happen. The leverage starts to begin because you start having this organic growth. Those individuals go out and they look for other people, and so on and so forth, right? Do you see the power duplication? You only know, and you only brought in 5 people into the business, but your channel could look like this, and you are being paid based on the size of your qualified channel in this business. Not on the 5 people, on your qualified channel. My hope is that you will find quality individuals because the quality of these individuals will ripple into the rest of your channel. If you find weak people over here, the rest of your channel is going to be weak. I want you to be always discerning and focused on quality when you start building. Picture this as your board of directors. You're the CEO. You're tasked with going out and finding a board of directors. So you have to be very discerning in that activity. You can't find anyone who's looking for a job. There are 10 million people looking for a job. You'll have a long queue. You'll have 10 million people in your board of directors, right? And they'll say, where's my money? You say, no, you've got to earn it. And then there's a different story. So my hope is that you build this quality, sustainable business because, again, opposite to employment, you will be able to take a 3-month holiday one day in this business. When DuePoint's paying you enough, you can take 3 months of holiday, and DuePoint will pay you every single month while you're on holiday. Impossible in employment, right? You've got to be between jobs to do that, or retrenched. Okay, so this is what a channel of distribution looks like. I will warn you, we are not a get-rich-quick scheme. I think a lot of people fear that, unfortunately, because of the stigma that other businesses have created in the market. We are not one of those businesses. Don't label us like that, and from this point on, you can now trust that we're not one of those. Because I remind you, we're a 70-year-old insurance company. We're regulated by the Financial Services Board. We've got very reputable individuals in our organization that would never align themselves with one of these schemes. We've invested a lot of money into this business, and so I hope that you don't have that fear anymore. At the same time, Brendan and myself will never promise you success easily in this business. It doesn't exist in life. It doesn't. To be successful in any endeavor requires hard work, commitment, persistence, doing things when you don't feel like it, right? And so the visual that we used is very appropriate because we think entrepreneurship looks like this, right? Anyone got any successful entrepreneur friends? Oh, they wear nice clothes. The husband or wife's even good looking. The dog's good looking. The house is nice, right? And we think, they're so lucky. They're so lucky. I should have started my business when I was 18. I would be just like them. But in the background, this is what entrepreneurship looks like. It is blood, sweat, and tears, right? That's why it's not for everyone. It isn't. People don't have the tenacity and the desperation to pull change out of life for themselves. That the majority of people, they just don't have that, right? And so don't make the mistake of joining this business thinking it's just going to happen on its own. Every wealth engineer in our business that is successful still comes to my office to complain every month. Do you realize that? They all come to complain. You can go ask them. They're allowed to complain to me, no one else. Right? And I listen to them. But the business is difficult. We're very much a people-orientated business. People can be frustrating to deal with, right? And so that's your warning. So there are 2 ways to earn in our business. The first way, and the foremost way, is through our returns program. So our returns program is what we pay wealth engineers at the end of every single month based on how much product they have in their channel of distribution. So this is the returns program. We pay a base return fee of R27.50 for every product that you have in your qualified channel. Remember the first 5 individuals you introduce to the business. These people, your board of directors, lie on your first point. That product is 1 point away from you, and you can see on the table that we actually pay you double the R27.50. So you get R55 on your first point. Those people go out and introduce other people, right? The leverage and the power duplication starts to take place. That product lies on your second point, and again you get R55 to the third point, to the fourth point, all the way down to the 8th point. You see the multiplier steadily drops to 4%. But what's important to note is that we don't limit you at 0.8. So you will grow your business beyond 0.8, right? So you need to know that beyond 0.8, we will keep paying you the 4% of the R27.50. Oh my goodness. Bill Gates loves to come in and surprise us. Remind me tomorrow, yeah. So when I'm doing the presentation tomorrow, this will pop up again. Right? We don't limit you at 0.8. We will keep paying you the 4% beyond 0.8. We don't limit you on how big your channel can get at DuePoint. We don't limit you on how much money you can make at DuePoint. We want you to think long term in this business. Don't think the next year or 2 years. Think what this business can do for you in the next 20 years or 30 years. Because you'll keep earning the larger and larger your channel gets. So this is the mechanics of the returns. It's fairly straightforward. The next question you get typically is, well, how much money can someone earn in this business? Give me an idea. Beyond the R55, what can I expect to earn after a year in this business? So what we did is we built this projection over the next 5 years. We call it the path to success. It is dependent on an assumed growth formula. So the assumed growth formula is called 3 plus 2. It assumes in your first month, so December, you can bring 3 people into the business, right? 3 board of directors into your business. And then every consecutive month, you're going to add in another 2 people. So in December, 3 people. In January, another 2. In February, another 2. In March, another 2. And you keep growing with 2 people every month into perpetuity. If you can follow this growth formula, you can expect to be earning these numbers. R2,500 after 6 months. Now, no, that's not a huge number, right? Do people even get out of bed for R2,500 nowadays? Not really. But let me give you some context, because as much as you think this presentation is just about earning money, it's actually more than that. I'm hoping that we will create a paradigm shift with the people in this business. What I mean by that is I want the wealth engineers in this business to stop thinking like consumers. Stop thinking like employees. Right? The economy is based on consumerism, which is probably the worst kind of fact, because if we have to keep spending things and buying things for the economy to look good, well, that's to the detriment of most of us. If I give you R2,500, we automatically think, well, what can I buy with R2,500? We always look at money in terms of spending power. But if I give an entrepreneur, an investor, someone who's focused on trying to create wealth, I give them R2,500, do you think they decide, how am I going to spend that money tomorrow? They don't think like that, right? And we need to start challenging the way we think. So I'll illustrate the example. Here's someone with R1 million debt, right? They owe the bank R1 million because they bought a house that they couldn't afford. The bank loaned them the money, and you agreed to pay back that bond over the next 20 years. At prime plus 2 on R1 million, you're paying about 11,500 rand, right? So I'm 40 today. I'll make my final payment to the bank when I'm 60. I'll be paying 11,500 for the next 20 years. And finally, I'm a homeowner as I retire. Just in time, right? Hopefully Brendan doesn't retire me early, because then I won't be able to pay my house off. Then I really got problems. But that, everyone knows how the bond works. I joined DuePoint 6 months later with some success. I'm earning 2,500 rand. And instead of spending it on something, I decided to do a very boring thing and pay my bond off a little faster. I put the money into my bond. The net effect of that is that I get to pay the house off in 11 and a half years instead of 20. I become a homeowner at the age of 51 instead of 60. It saves me in interest payments back to the bank to the equivalent of 1 million rand. Well, almost 1 million rand. That is huge. You know? You didn't have to go out and earn that money. You just earned it in terms of the savings that you made, right? Based on one decision. You saved yourself nearly 1 million rand on the debt that you have. The average debt in South Africa is sitting, for each person in South Africa, is sitting at just over 250,000 rand a person on average. That is frightening. We have to pay our debt off faster. At month 12, you're earning, in terms of annual recurring income, over 100,000 rand a month. How would you like a 100,000 rand check now, just before Christmas? Wouldn't that be good? I would certainly like it. After 24 months, we're on almost 30,000 rand a month. After 36 months, we're close to 50,000 rand a month. Right? I hope I have your attention now, because we started off small at 2,500. I hope we don't have too many high flyers here, and 50,000 is attractive enough to stay in the presentation. At the 30-month mark, we got an example of someone with a 5 million rand bond. So as again, in his illustration, at the 30-month mark, you're earning about 36,000 rand. If you place that 36,000 rand as an additional payment into a 5 million rand bond, you'll pay that 5 million rand house off in less than 7 years. Right? So let's see what the net effect of that is. I'm 40. I buy a 5 million rand house. I put the extra money that I'm making into the bond. I pay it off at the age of 47. I pay my debt off first. What do I do after I pay my debt off? Start creating wealth. So I decide I want to invest in property, right? People say property is a good investment. Let's try it. So I buy another house. I pay that off at the age of 54. I buy a third house. I pay it off at the age of 61, right? I now own 3 houses to the value of 5 million rand each that are all paid off. I'm living in one. I'm getting rental income of about 60,000, 70,000 rand a month when I'm retired. And who knows what DuePoint's paying me at year 21, because we're only at the 30-month mark at the moment. You have to make the decision 20 years before you get to enjoy the fruits of the decision. And unfortunately, it's a boring decision, right? Because the decision you're going to make here is, do you want to buy a brand new car for 2 million rand? Or do you want to put your money into your bond? See those nice new GLE Mercedes-Benzes? Hey? 2 million bucks. Cost you about 35,000 a month to pay off. Wouldn't you prefer that than putting money into the bond? Everyone's going, this guy's asking me a trick question now. Right? That's the continual decision that we have to make. It's a decision we make every single day as consumers. Do I buy this or do I save? Do I buy this or do I save? You keep going. At month 48, we had nearly 70,000 rand a month. And after 5 years, we've created for ourselves around about 1 million rand in annual recurring income. Imagine getting 1 million rand check every December. That's the stuff only stockbrokers get, and bankers, and top salespeople at SAP and KPMG and those places, right? The rest of us, we don't get those kind of things. It is here. It is on offer. It starts at the 2,500 rand at 6 months. Majority of wealth engineers give up before month 6. Majority, unfortunately. So this is on offer, but this is all theory. It's based on this 3+2 growth formula. You can certainly do less. Like I say, we've got people that give up, people that don't do anything. But we've got wealth engineers that show that tenacity, right? And we love showcasing these wealth engineers because they are proof that the system works. And not only at 3+2. If you want to do more than 3+2, you're welcome to do it. You get to decide that if you want more than 3+2. So here we have Nick and Shani. They joined in September, so that's about 15 months ago. They're on 4,000 rand a month already, closing in on 5,000 rand a month. They didn't give up, right? Everyone shook their heads at 2,500 rand. It took them nearly a year to get to 2,500 rand. How many of us would have given up because it's not worth our time? Let's speak about the value of time. How much money do you need in your investment, in your retirement fund, to earn 5,000 rand a month once you're retired? That's the question you're going to ask yourself. You're going to get to retirement. Your boss is going to give you a letter, right? Retirement letter. The company is going to have a party for you. And at the end of the month, you're going to realize that next month you don't get an income. And you're going to look at that retirement fund that you had to contribute to over the 40 years, and you're going to look at the value that is sitting there. If you've got 1 million rand sitting in that fund, it'll pay out 5,000 rand a month. And that's only if you contributed about 800 rand a month for 40 years. If you started at the age of 20 and contributed 800 rand every month into that fund until you were 60, you would be in that position. 1 million rand in the fund, it'll pay you out 5,000 rand a month until you're 90. That's what retirement planning looks like. That nearly 5,000 rand mark in the space of 18 months. But most of us would have given up before then because my time's not worth it. We have to keep challenging ourselves, right? Jack Delamo from Mpumalanga joined in January. He's already at over 8,000 a month. Don Landon from Port Elizabeth, 14th of December. He only started doing the business in June. How he went in a single month from 0 to 4,000 Rand in a single month, I don't know. He needs to tell me his secret. Right? And he carried on going. He tripled that figure in the next few months. Motla Sona from the Free State joined on the 17th of April. We looked at a business last week. It's sitting at nearly 25,000 a month. Everyone is different. You need to decide the race that you run. They've decided. You need to decide what race you're running. Don't just covet your neighbor and go, oh, I also want 25,000 a month. You have to be realistic about the time that you can sacrifice into the business, what you can do in the business, and what you want out of the business, because that has to motivate you, right? We've got thousands of wealth engineers that join our business every single month that are creating additional income streams for themselves. And for the first time, taking control over income in their lives. Not at the mercy of the economy, what their boss thinks of them, how their business is operating. So this is our returns program. This is what we pay wealth engineers at the end of every month. There's a second way to benefit, and that is through our XP Rewards program. So the XP Rewards program works like this. You can look at it as an incentive program, right? So you will start engaging in typical wealth engineer behavior. It's kind of like going to gym. We give you points for when you go to gym, right? But here at DuePoint, we give you points when you come to presentations, when you bring guests with you, when you log into the DuePoint app, when you watch training. So there's about 20 different items you can engage with. And as you start collecting this XP, stands for experience points, and your channel starts to grow, we reward you along the way. So if you start out as a wealth engineer this evening, you'll start out as rank 0, right? But you only need 1,000 XP, you need 4 products in your qualified channel, and suddenly you rank 1 in the XP Rewards program, and you get a 55 Rand reward, a once-off reward at the end of that month. You can go buy a smoothie and celebrate on your own. Right? No one even shakes your hand. But you can turn your nose up at the 55 Rand, but what's important to note is that if you can get to rank 1, I promise you, you can get to rank 20. Because the activity is exactly the same. It doesn't change. People who are rank 1s and people who are rank 20s are doing the same thing every day. They're doing the same thing, right? So get to rank 1. And as you start to rank up, those rewards, really, they get bigger and better. There's 20,000 Rand. There's a 50,000 Rand check. We give tools to our wealth engineers that allow them to build their channels more effectively. At rank 5, we give our wealth engineers this wonderful little USB drive. That little thing plugs into anything. It can plug into phones, tablets, TVs, laptops, computers, Apple, banana, Android. Right? Who's got bananas here? We're going to change that for you here at DuePoint. Okay? Patrick and Pumi can show the DuePoint opportunity to anyone because all our videos are on there. And that little device can plug into anything. At rank 7, we spent 12,500 Rand getting business cards manufactured for you. These are gold-gilded, gold-foiled business cards. There's no ink on this business card. Everything's done in gold. Right? We've got our next batch of 4 being manufactured at the moment in the Western Cape for us. Hopefully get delivered in the new year for those new rank 7s coming out in the new year. Why would we spend so much money on business cards? Because this business relies very much on credibility. Very much, like any business proposition, right? And unfortunately, people haven't heard of DuePoint. So if you go propose a business called DuePoint to somebody, they'll say, I don't know who DuePoint is. Your credibility is still here on the ground. But when you pull out a 12,500 Rand business card, that's probably 50 times more expensive than what that person's got in their back pocket. Suddenly your credibility raises. That person wants to know, how did you get a business card like that? What does DuePoint do? And you have opportunity to explain what DuePoint's all about. At rank 9, we take our wealth engineers and their families to our international conference. Not once, but every year. And we fly your whole family business class. It's 7 days away, all expenses paid trip to a 5-star luxury resort. Right? Every year. All those other rewards we showed are once-off rewards. They're once-offs. But when you get to rank 9, you get to enjoy this for the rest of your life, as long as you rank 9 and above. So take a look at where we are going in 2 weeks' time. In 2 weeks' time, my toes are going to be in the sand. Don't be jealous. Oh, you can turn them all off, don't worry. where you worried you're going to get mugged.
All of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sun where no one can see. You stand, don't let the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up.
Doesn't look too bad, right? We've got 20 people coming with us, and next year it'll be probably 60, and the year after that it'll probably be 150, right? This is our first year, and we've already got 20 people coming with us. You've got to decide over the next 13 months, are you going to get to rank 9 or not? But there's no time limit. If you can make next year's, that's fine. Otherwise, you can make 2019, or maybe you'll make 2020, right? It's up to you and the pace that you're running at. At rank 11, we spend R250,000 on a brand new car and give it to our wealth engineers. For you, no debit order at the end of the month. Brand new car in the garage. Not too bad, right? How much closer are you becoming, or to becoming debt-free? When you're going on an overseas business class trip every single year, the car you're driving, you never had to pay for. You're earning a second income from another business that you do flexi time. So this is our rewards program. This is only rank 11. One gentleman got to rank 9 in 5 months. He saw the presentation, 5 months later he was rank 9. Right? This is early days, guys. Early days. We've designed the rewards program to rank 28. That's the next 20, 30 years mapped out for our wealth engineers. You're probably only thinking about the end of the month. How am I going to afford Christmas this year? I want you to start thinking beyond that. What does your retirement look like? What does your life in the next 20 years look like? So this is our rewards program. We've got a third way to benefit as a wealth engineer, is that's through our wealth quests. So this is a challenge that we issue our wealth engineers every single month. It's different every month. This month, December, is called Outshine Santa. We challenge you to find 6 new people to bring into your business and to support them in becoming qualified in their own respect. 2 of them. Only 2 of them have to get qualified of the 6. And if you can do that, everyone pays their debit orders successfully, you will have 100 gigs of data for the next year given to you, plus a 4G router. That's your data requirements taken care of for 2018. Okay? Tools to help you in your business. We get asked the question, how does DuePoint afford the returns and rewards? This basically illustrates our business model. So Differently to typical insurance companies that spend a lot of money on marketing and advertising, we don't do any marketing and advertising. We don't have any advertising budget here at DuePoint, right? You won't see a DuePoint logo outside of the building. We rely on our wealth engineers to go speak to people and tell them about the DuePoint business opportunity. And so we don't have to spend the billions that insurance companies typically spend on advertising. We can take that portion of our payments, attribute it to returns and rewards for the benefit of you guys, for the benefit of our wealth engineers. And that's basically how our business model works. We've got 3 products here at DuePoint. Their benefits are all financial in nature. The first product is called the Access Wealth Plan. It's 299 Rand a month. It is our investment product. It is broken up into 2 separate products. The investment, which is a tax-free investment fund, which 100 Rand will get invested into for you every single month. And then on top of that, you get some insurance. So you get personal accident cover to the value of 110,000 Rand, right? And that investment, you can draw that investment out at any stage. It takes us 72 hours to process. You don't have to give us 30 days or 60 days or 120 days notice. So it's a flexible, tax-free investment. So this is our investment product, Access Wealth. The second product is called the Wealth Guard. It is 274 Rand a month, and this is strictly insurance. So this is only an insurance product. It is 274 Rand a month, but this time you get 1.1 million Rands worth of personal accident cover. So don't get confused. This is not funeral cover. This is not life insurance, right? Those products profile you from a health risk point of view. This product we can give to anybody over the age of 18 without any change to the premium. So you can be 70 years old, you can be diabetic, and you can still take out this product. The premium remains the same, and the amount of cover that you receive remains the same. So this is our insurance product, Wealth Guard. The third product is called Wealth Points. It is 274 Rand a month, and what Wealth Points aims to achieve is to save you money on the money that you're spending every month anyway. So take a look at the list of partners that we have there. I bet you're spending money with at least one of those partners. This product is going to allow you to save money on the money that you're spending. So for 274 Rand a month, you get to enjoy discounts that we've negotiated with the list of partners that you see there. So we've got retailers, we've got supermarkets, we've got data partners, car manufacturers. Everything is pretty much listed there. Restaurants, hotels. If you're looking for immediate benefit, this is the product to take, right? So those are the 3 products. They're designed to be very straightforward. There's more information on our website if you want to go look at it, and there are in-depth reviews in video format on YouTube on each of these products if you want to go take a look at that. But straightforward products. Come ask me any questions if you need to know anything else. What is the decision we need to make? I'll sum it up very simply for everybody. Are you willing to endure the downside of entrepreneurship to enjoy the promise of what it offers? It's as simple as it is. Does not get more complicated than that. I don't want to hear the excuses, I don't have enough time, bloody, 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 blah. You either want what we have on offer, but it requires time, sacrifice, and effort. As simple as that. That is the decision. Joining is very straightforward. Read our code of conduct. It is our contract with you that defines what you cannot do as a wealth engineer, and then register as a wealth engineer. That's very straightforward. You can do it on our website. Go to the homepage, www.duepoint.net. There's a big blue apply button. The application form takes about 7 minutes to fill out, and bang, suddenly you're a wealth engineer, but you still rank 0. Right? So I'm not too worried about people who join. I'm worried about the people that start doing the business. Right? So apply yourself to this business. We've got 7 videos on YouTube that make up our basic series that will explain everything about this business to you. Go watch those videos. Set goals for yourself. Setting a goal is you deciding what race you want to run, how fast you want to run it. Right? Everyone is different. You decide that. And apply yourself. Decide what strategy, what plan you have to put into place to meet those goals. And then start doing it. And that means talking to people. It is as simple as that. This business is extremely straightforward. But if you're not speaking to somebody every day, you're not doing the business. We got merchandise. We designed the merchandise not as a profit center for ourselves, but as tools that we thought would help you build your channels of distribution. So please consider getting business cards. They're on display in the merchandise cabinet. The pricing is all on the counter. Foremost is the business cards. I cannot see how anyone can go out and do this business, purport to have this wonderful business opportunity, and then tear off a piece of paper on the corner of their diary, write their name and number on, and say, here, phone me. I've got a great business for you. Right? Get the business cards, please. I will pay for the expensive ones at rank 7. You pay for the cheap ones at rank 0. Right? Is that a deal? USB sticks. All our videos are on the USB stick. So if you're data shy, get the USB stick. The pins represent people that are earning money in our business. Do not go ask advice from someone who doesn't have a pin, because you're asking the 0 plus 0 club. Right? The pins are available, pens, power banks, so that your phone never dies. Your phone is your primary tool of business at DuePoint. Notebooks and the caps. Like I said, everything's in the cabinet. The pricing's on display. Credit card machine has been warmed up just for you guys. Once you become wealth engineers, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We've got 500 videos on there. There is so much knowledge on this YouTube channel. We're already at 500,000 views here. Use the YouTube channel to your advantage. Download the mobile app. It works on Android and Apple devices only. And then once you download the mobile app, update your profile photo, because we will give you 1,000 XP immediately if you take a selfie. As long as I can recognize you. You can't have the big sunglasses on and take a selfie. Okay, so there's 1,000 XP. You need 1,000 XP for rank 1, remember? Some don'ts. So things to consider before you become a wealth engineer, and also when you're prospecting. People need resources to thrive as DuePoint wealth engineers. Right? This is not a business for people that are unemployed, for people that don't have money. It isn't. You might be thinking that, but I'm telling you it isn't. The business is designed to allow people that have the resources to empower themselves. And in that small way, we will change this economy. In 10 years' time, you never know, then you could have wealth engineers helping the rest of the economy. But for now, it's for people with the resources. You need access to the internet. This is one of the few investments you'll make in this business. It's going to be in data. You can buy a gig of data for 36 Rand through our Wealth Points program. Right? So you can't tell me you can't afford it. And we've got 100 gigs on data on offer this month for the Wealth Quest. If you struggle with transport, you're going to struggle in the business. Even though we're so heavily invested in technology, this is still a face-to-face, a personal relationship business. Right? It'll require you to go see people, to have meetings with your board of directors. Right? You need access to transport. Don't ever complete an application form on behalf of somebody else. This is illegal. It's not just in contravention of our code of conduct. This is fraudulent. Make sure people in your channel are not doing it either. Don't add direct family members that live in the same household as you. This is probably the number one question I have constantly. Everyone's worried about they think the whole family is going to join their business. Let me tell you, when you start prospecting, it's your family that tell you you're part of a pyramid scheme and they don't want to join the business, right? So don't worry about your direct family members. They aren't going to do anything for you. But you need to know that you can't add direct family members who live with you into your business. If you've got family members who live at other addresses, have started their own families, they're welcome to join your channel. Don't start your own Facebook page. Do not do anything on Facebook. Right? We have a contracted company that goes out and searches the web every single day to report on who's mentioning DuePoint or our products on social media platforms. We find out who the person is. It gets reported to client service every morning, and every morning we suspend a whole bunch of wealth engineers. That's just something we had to do, because you're actually contravening the Phase Act of 2002. You're not allowed to do anything on behalf of a financial services business. Remember, you're just going out and telling people about a business opportunity. That's where it starts and stops. Don't send DuePoint prospects unattended to our head office or anywhere in that matter. What we're talking about here is your responsibility around you prospecting people. Look after them, take care of them, have respect for them, and treat them professionally. That problem originates when people do things on Facebook and you've got 100 people coming to you and you just say, go to head office, Rob will take care of you. Right? Look after the people that you prospect, treat them individually. Happy New Year starts for us on the 4th of January. Why? Because those are the first intro presentations in the new year that we're going to be having. Our office will be open throughout the year. We don't close the office, but our last presentation is on this Saturday. The first presentation of 2018 is on the 4th of January. We start with a lunchtime presentation on Thursday. And then in the evening, we're going to be inviting our rank 9 wealth engineers back to head office to report on the holiday in Mauritius. Right? So they're going to still be wearing their bikinis, their Bermuda shorts. There's going to be sand in their toes, right? Forgive them. But they're going to come tell you what it's all about and whether it's been worth the work over the last 18 months to get to rank 9. So it's going to be a very special evening. We have wonderful testimony that evening. If you've got any prospects over Christmas and New Year, try get them to this presentation. I think it'll be very powerful for you as a tool in prospecting. I remind you, on the 10th of February next year is our inaugural. It is our first Converge Awards evening that we're having. And it is by invitation only, and only rank 4s and above will be invited to this. So if you are rank 1, 2, or 3, work extra hard in December and January so that you get to rank 4 by the end of January, and we can invite you to this very special evening. Okay? Guys, I thank you so much for your time. I remind you again, there is only one person in your life that can design their futures. One person. That's the person looking back at you in the mirror. That is the only person that is going to change your future. You have to make that decision and keep yourself accountable to doing it. So I wish you all the best. I hope December is a month that you work extra hard in, because it is particularly a good month for prospecting, because people are suffering over Christmas. The suicide rate goes up over Christmas. Right? People need help. They need to be connected to a business like DuePoint. Only you guys can do it. So good luck. Thank you.